Hey guys, my name's Oscar Mikey, and today I've got kind of a Battlefield 2042 news update for you. Yesterday, EA DICE posted a video on YouTube. It's another development update video that they've been kind of getting into for the past year to keep the community updated on what they're up to with regard to the game. They just briefly went over their plans for Season 2, upcoming content, changes to the game, and things like that. So let's just get right into it. They went over their four kind of main talking points, which are core gameplay, maps, experiences and modes, and new content. They briefly mentioned that Season 2 is going to be revealed later this month, so probably on the very last day of August. Make sure you mark that in your calendars and keep your eyes open. First major thing that they talked about was the specialist rework. So what they're going to do is they're going to condense all of the specialists into the four kind of traditional classes that we've been dealing with for a while now. So the traditional assault, recon, support, and engineer classes. All the current specialists are going to be divided up and assigned one of these classes. So you can see by these frames picked from the video, you can see how they're going to be divided up. There are going to be class-specific traits available to each specialist within each class. So you can see here, for example, McKay has the med pen. I think that's probably going to be some kind of medical item that you can use to get yourself back in the fight really quickly. And that should be available to the other two assault specialists as well. Same thing is going to apply for the support, recon, and engineer classes. It's going to be something different though, probably. Right now, at this moment, it's not going to be clear what those traits are, but just know that that is something that's going to be coming with this specialist rework. Existing kind of open, non-specialist specific gadgets will also be divided into the four classes, depending on what kind of role they'll fill best. There will be a new specialist coming in Season 2, just one specialist. I suspect it might be a support character. Support is the only class that has two specialists, the rest of them have three. So I wouldn't be surprised if the new specialist turns out to be a support kind of character. Now, I think all these changes sound really good. I'm really enthusiastic about these changes, and I want to see them come to the game as soon as possible. But unfortunately, these changes to the specialists won't be coming until Season 3. So hang in there for a little while longer, guys. One more season, and we're going to get these changes. They're also going to bring more cosmetic changes to the specialists, making them a little bit more serious. They're going to be making changes to their body posture, facial expressions, and voice lines. This is all being done with tone in mind, so they're going to try and make them feel a little bit more serious and match the kind of dystopian future war kind of environment that they've created for this game. Next up, starting in Season 2, they're going to kind of trickle release the weapons from Portal into all-out warfare. In this video, in this development update, they kind of made it seem like this is going to happen over time. So pretty much throughout the lifetime of the game, Season 2, Season 3, and onward, we're slowly going to get new weapon releases, or existing weapons from Portal are going to be ported over to the Modern Warfare game mode. They will be starting with the M16A3 and the M60, and these kinds of weapons are going to be available through the assignment system. So you're going to have to work to complete assignments to unlock these weapons. But I think it'll be well worth it. I'm really looking forward to using the M16A3 again. Definitely one of my favorite weapons in the entire Battlefield series. Now moving on to maps, their updated version of Renewal is going to be coming in September, so that's fairly close. But they also talked about an updated version of Orbital that's coming in October. They showed both of these maps off, and they're looking really good. They show kind of before and after screens for both of them, and you can really see the difference between the old and the new. Both of these maps, the original versions, they just look so barren. There's so much like just plain flat empty space going on in the old versions, but in the new one, they've done a lot of work to populate the environment with like interesting objects that kind of redirect the flow of combat and kind of break up the environment in a good way, in like a functional way and an aesthetic way, which is a really, really good change. I'm really happy to see this. Renewal has a lot of objects being placed around the environment, where before it was just kind of long, empty hallways and like wide open, empty, flat roads and desert. There's like sandbags and bollards and shipping containers and stuff all over the place now. So that's really going to change up the gameplay quite a bit. And same kind of thing on Orbital. In my opinion, and I think probably in the opinion of a lot of you guys as well, Orbital is one of the better launch maps for 2042, but it still suffered some problems. It suffered from the same kind of wide open, flat, empty space problem that most of the launch maps suffered from. Not only did they do the same thing they did with Renewal, adding cover, sandbags, lots more like visual interest, but they're also changing up the spawns. So they're pushing the spawns into the first capture point on either side. This is going to collapse the map by quite a bit. It's going to make sure that the action starts sooner. There's less travel time. If you happen to spawn back at your main base for a vehicle or whatever, for whatever reason, it's not going to be such a long travel time back to the battlefield. Now, this means that we're going to be losing 2 capture points. So to make up for this, they added another one in the hills. That will be a good addition and something else for players to fight over, and another kind of point of interest for us to focus on. So I think Orbital, more than Renewal, is going to see a lot of significant visual changes added to it, and some really great ones in my opinion. The landscape is going to be kind of scarred and war-torn before anybody even sets foot in it. There's craters on the runway, there's kind of semi-demolished buildings already in place before the game even starts. Lots of sandbags and tire treads all over the place. It just looks a lot more like a battle has actually taken place and is about to take place over this location. And like, I understand from kind of a lore or story perspective that Orbital is not like a war zone. It's obviously a launch site for satellites, rockets and stuff. But still, we're supposed to be playing in this world that has been ravaged by war already, that has been in conflict and still is in conflict. And it just helps sell the environment a little bit more to see all this like environment scarring, the craters on the ground, the sandbags and the vehicles, the military vehicles all over the place. It really helps Orbital feel way more authentic. The tunnel that runs up the middle of the map underground, it's been given some love too. Same kind of thing. There's a lot of like sandbags and cover in there now, and there's also supposedly some escape routes back up to the surface, so I'm thinking like elevators in the tunnel that'll bring you back up to the surface if you need a quick escape. Final note I want to make for you guys, there is a new map coming with Season 2, and they say in this video that it's heavily focused on infantry gameplay. They did kind of give a quick sneak peek to the new map coming in Season 2. There's a couple of gameplay shots of it and like a wide aerial shot of it covering pretty much the whole thing, it looks like. To me, it looks a lot like Discarded. There's a giant container ship right in the middle, kind of surrounded by just nothing. Not a whole lot. It's kind of like a flat, dry riverbed, and in the middle is this giant container ship, and I don't really know what is supposed to separate this map from Discarded. Discarded isn't really one of my favorite maps in the game, so I hope they bring something different to this map, and it kind of distinguishes itself, kind of sets itself apart from Discarded, because I'm not really impressed with what I'm seeing with this right now. I'm going to keep my expectations in check for this one. But yeah, without going into like macro detail, that's the bulk of what they discussed in this development update video. Some really positive changes coming to the game. I'm really looking forward to the specialist rework. It's unfortunate that's coming in Season 3, so we're going to have to wait quite a bit longer for it. But at least they're working towards it, and it is a thing that's going to happen. They're not just going to let the game sit in its current state, which is encouraging. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Just a quick one today, just a quick little update on Battlefield 2042. The game is still being worked on. They're still working on it, still trying to improve it. What do you guys think of all these changes? Are you even still playing 2042? Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. If you did like the video, make sure you leave a like. Consider subscribing to see all my future videos. Thanks again, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one.